FCC to reintroduce rules protecting net neutrality. FTC is suing Amazon for illegally maintaining monopoly power. Our big beautiful boys in the federal government are actually doing some work right now, and you know I've gassed up the NLRB a lot. You know, let's go, Brandon. I mean, seriously, it doesn't matter how fucking old he is. Okay, it don't matter how insanely decrepit he is. His agencies are maybe because he's asleep on the wheel, I don't know, or maybe because of his like genuine go ahead, doing the damn thing a little bit, and you know, these are some of the only instances where I get like weirdly nerdy about how big government is actually a good thing and why it should be a thing that exists, and I like it. I like it a lot. This makes me very happy to see marginal improvements being made when like these agencies that are specifically designed to do the stuff are doing the damn stuff, right? Today, I'm a big like I feel as libbed up as I did when Trump got indicted. You know what I mean? You know how we talked about like on this day we are all a bit like Jeff Tiedrich or whatever his name is. Like when I see stuff like that, when I see stuff like this, it does get me kind of libbed up. It gets me kind of libbed up, and it gets me kind of going. Now, obviously, this isn't like anywhere near the change necessary for like genuine improvement of material conditions for American workers that they can actually feel, that they can actually see, and maybe even instill confidence inside, instill confidence in the federal government. Biden is making history as the first president to walk the picket line in the auto worker strike. This is 100% real. This is a historic moment for labor union history in America. This is a historic moment for the American presidency. This is a historic moment in general. Very cool. I like it a lot. I like this a lot. We love it, folks. We fucking love it. Let's go, Brandon.
And he's heading to Michigan to join striking auto workers on the picket lines this afternoon. An unprecedented show of worker solidarity by a sitting president. Senior national correspondent Terry Marin is outside a Ford plant in Michigan. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, George. For decades, when workers went on strike, presidents, Republican and Democrat, tried to stay above it all, not taking sides, urging negotiations and a fair deal. But today, at this Ford plant where workers have been on strike for 11 days now for better pay and benefits, Joe Biden will break that tradition.
Annoying timing, but beats Obama, right? No. Joe Brandon is like definitely beating Obama on this front for sure. Like the Brandon administration is definitely way more openly pro-labor than the Obama administration was, 100%. After all, the NLRB under the Brandon administration, as we mentioned before, instituted a lighter form of card check, which was legitimately a campaign promise from Barack Hussein Obama. Okay, that was a campaign promise from Barack Obama that he actually pushed for in Congress too, and then never actually followed through on once he became the president. And you know, the NLRB obviously doing this is not the same as legislation in Congress, which is significantly trickier and way harder to pursue and way harder to push for, but ultimately, that's a big win. That's a big W, which Obama could have brought up as well at the time. Brandon's NLRB is going after child labor pretty aggressively, partially because there's a lot more child labor happening, I guess, in America lately as conditions worsen, which is to be expected. They are going after back pay pretty aggressively. They literally arrested a small business recently. They arrested the owners of a small business, a spa called Haven, for violating a court order, you know, after they won a lawsuit specifically where they were found in violation of the rules and had to pay back pay to their employees, which they refused to do so, and then they arrested them, which is pretty fucking sick. Like, arresting a small business owner is fire, okay? That's tight. Now, obviously, they should do that with larger businesses as well, but it's good to set up these kinds of precedents. So big deal here, I think, for Brandon. If you ask me why he didn't do the same for railroad workers, I genuinely don't know, especially because the follow-through did legitimately offer the railroad workers quietly some of the things that they were interested in striking for. And I don't know why they did that quietly. Because it was odd. It was a very odd thing to do with like, because it's like a big PR boost. And I guess they thought that it wouldn't be a big PR boost. But the reality on the labor side, or the reality on the railroad worker side is that obviously Brandon forced it forced the railroad workers to go back to work at a time when there were very serious demands being made, very understandable demands being made by the rail worker unions, right? He forced them to go back to work because these are like the most essential employees you can have, obviously. These are freight trains. They're the ones who are carrying, chlorine and very important chemicals. They're the ones who make commerce work everywhere, but they also are the ones who are responsible for, your fresh water supply being drinkable, right? So that's part of the reason why they have a unique contract where the federal government's like, no, you have to keep working at gunpoint, right? But Biden not taking the side of the railroad workers in that conversation and then quietly actually going to them, taking their demands directly to the bosses in the railroad companies and getting at least some of their demands met is very interesting. I don't know why they did it quietly. I don't know why they did it after. It was an afterthought. Didn't get a lot of media coverage. That's why a lot of people are unfamiliar with that. Like they didn't even, most of you, even though I have covered it before, probably didn't even realize that is something that happened. And make no mistake, I am telling you, it's not like I don't think his cabinet or I don't think his advisors in his ear are actually pro-labor by any means. I think that the people that they hear from are on the Capitol side, are on the boss side. I also said this as well. What did I use as an example? Well, the bosses didn't know that the UAW strike was a reality, that it was very likely that the UAW would strike. Neither did Joe Brandon. 2 days before the UAW strike started, if you remember, he said, I'm not worried about that. It's probably not going to happen, which is an unimaginable disconnect from the rank and file and the working, from the actual wage laborers at these fucking facilities and their bosses. To me, that shows that the people inside of Brandon's ear, inside of his orbit, are not on the labor side at all, because there were representatives, for example, from Michigan that were like, what the fuck are you saying? I mean, this is all like, gotta move Kai real quick, sorry. Sorry. Fuck. There was a Politico article written about this, if you remember. I forget what her name is. The Michigan representative was straight up like called the Biden administration and said, are you out of your fucking mind? Are you guys insane? These guys are definitely going to strike. Okay? So the man, President Joseph Robinette Brandon. Okay? Let's go.
This morning, the president will join striking auto workers on the picket line.
We're always supporting UAW.
Joe Biden will be making history. There is no record of any president walking a picket line until today. But in the United Auto Workers' expanding strike against the big three car companies, Biden says he stands with workers.
When you take a look at the significant increase in salaries for executives and growth of the industry, they should benefit.
It's so funny having this fucking carcass. Okay? It's so funny having this motherfucking carcass repeat like talking points that at this point he's just like completely oblivious to. He's just like, yeah, man, it's crazy, Jack. I feel like they can make him say whatever the fuck. He could be like, revolution now. We're going to let 1,000 flowers bloom, Jack. We're doing a cultural revolution. It's going to make Mao look like a pussycat. Are you a landlord? You're going to jail. And you're going to be grateful you're going to jail because no more rent seeking, no more parasitic behavior from those who shut off access.
But the White House insists that the details of any deal should be left up to the parties. A week and a half into this strike, those talks are inching closer as the UAW fights for a 40% wage increase and better benefits. Democrats are increasingly competing for union votes against Republicans like Donald Trump, who will address a crowd of union members on...
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Fuck the media. The media can suck and fuck me, okay? The media can suck my dick from the back. Fuck you, okay? Everyone in mainstream media is a charlatan defender of the capital owner class. They are fucking pieces of shit, garbage, garbanzo beans, okay? They should be doing actual fucking journalism. Suck my cock. Anyone that fucking says Donald Trump is actually going to talk to the striking workers is a fucking liar. He is not going to talk to the fucking striking workers. He's going to talk to scabbing workers at a fucking non-union shop in a fucking suburb. Like, it's bullshit. And guess what? I said this fucking a week ago. It's not like I am some prophetic person. I'm a fucking dumbass. And even I knew from that point, as soon as Donald Trump said, oh, I'm going to go talk to the fucking picket. Oh, I'm going to go I'm going to go to the picket. I was like, oh, he's not doing that. There's no way he's doing that. He would get booed. He would get owned. I told you he was going to go to a controlled environment, and that's precisely what he's fucking doing. And the media should stop doing this false equivocation. Suck my dick, dude. Fuck you guys. Okay? God damn it. This shit sucks so bad. How are you going to flub on this? You hate Donald Trump. That's like the one thing that causes mainstream media to like genuinely fucking behave like real journalists, right? And even then, he still fucked it up. Donald Trump is not going to the fucking picket. He's not. He's not. Why are they making this false equivalence? Why are they acting like he is?
Wednesday. Out on the picket lines, workers are holding strong.
We're looking forward to getting something fair negotiated with Ford.
But for some, like Mac Hall and his sons, Stephen and Chris, two generations of auto workers on strike together, this fight is about something bigger than politics as usual.
Personally, Biden and Trump can stay.
Yeah, he's literally not speaking to the UAW, but rather going to a non-union, non-Big Three plant. He has not contacted the union, Lamau. This is genuinely funny at this point. Actually, interesting question to ask UAW members if you're a reporter in Michigan. Have they been contacted to attend? If so, by who? Rumors are the Right to Work Foundation is using its list and former UAW members to find workers for it. Would be good to know if that's true. A question you can ask the Trump campaign. Will strikes be allowed to attend tomorrow? Will strikers be allowed to attend tomorrow if they weren't already in touch with the organizers? Last one is, well, you can imagine more than a few strikers would like to give Trump a piece of their mind if he insists on his sideshow. Next, one might consider looking into whether execs at Drake Enterprises are Trump donors, GOP donors, or contributors to the Right to Work Foundation. Journalism is really not that difficult. You just ask questions and try to find answers. Lol. It is so insane. First of all, Alex is a fucking journalist, and she's basically, given that she doesn't have the same level of access that a lot of mainstream media journalists have, he's basically throwing this up for free on the timeline for any goddamn journalist to actually follow through on. If you are a journalist, and I know many of you are in here right now, a lot of motherfuckers love watching me, whether you are in the DNC, whether you work with the branded administration, whether you work with the UAW specifically, or whether you work for the AFL-CIO, like H. Bizzle 13, who no longer attends here because he's a massive RP head, okay? There's a lot of you in there. There's a lot of you in here. Follow through on some of the shit, you know, do some good work. Do some good fucking work, okay? That's how you know how Lib Bizzle is so far gone that this motherfucker literally works for the AFL-CIO. He's one of their UAW like reps, okay? And he's not even in here as a historic strike is happening. That's how brain broken he is, that he is just like so caught up in the fucking RP meta that he's never coming back.